Sorry to take so long getting up here, but not that I really needed an ovation. But I tell you, first of all, I'd just like to thank all of you all. You really don't know how special this is for me as a dad to be able to be a part of my children and something that they've accomplished. Just knowing that Jeremy was able to come here, I didn't really worry about him coming here and being a disappointment for the family. I expected him to come here and to be the young man that he's been raised up to be, mostly by my wife. He has my qualities, but you know, he listens to my wife more. And really and truly, it really is an honor for me to be here. You know, looking at everyone here, all the wonderful people that I've met. I kept up with the old dogs. Jeremy gave me the website, and just keeping up with him, I would always read on the internet the articles about the games. The photographer took excellent pictures. I actually felt like I was here. I would always look at the attendance and just be blown away by the support that the old dogs received. And I tell you what, the one thing about professional baseball, not only professional baseball, but baseball in general, the hardest part for something to get off the ground, you have to have the foundation, you have to have the support, and most importantly, there has to be involvement, not only by the children, but also by the parents. And I just want to congratulate each and every one of you here for the tremendous support that you not only showed for my son, but the tremendous support that you show for the old dogs. And I really do. I want to clap for you myself because I am truly honored. And I know this looks crazy. You know, it really is a blessing for me to be here. And just looking at the togetherness. You know, I know this is a hockey place, but watching and listening how baseball has taken off here, I can't wait to hopefully coach one of the kids from Okotoks. I mean, is really my dream right now because I feel like I am truly a part of the old dogs, and this has been a tremendous weekend for me. You know, as a kid, I always cherished baseball. I ate baseball, I slept baseball. My biggest dream was to be a professional baseball player. I never missed a summer of playing baseball. Basketball was my other sport, but baseball was always my passion. I was blessed to play 11 years in the major leagues, 15 years total. This is actually my 33rd season in professional baseball. It's actually the only job that I've ever had, I won't say actual, but because one year in the off season I worked at IBM, had a sit-down job, and it didn't really go well because, you know, when you have a sit-down job and having hemorrhoids, that's so I knew, you know, if there was going to be a job for me, it was going to have to be baseball because sitting down, it didn't really go well with me. And that's actually a true story. So. But then, you know, just looking at the support here, I remember when I got drafted, and my whole community, I still remember all of the excitement and the love that people had for me being able to be drafted by the Baltimore Orioles. And, you know, everybody thought right away I was going into the major leagues. I knew it was a sacrifice. I didn't realize baseball was that much of a sacrifice. You know, I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan. The Reds are the biggest team in my hometown. And so I grew up watching the Reds and anybody that came on television. And just knowing that I had the opportunity to live out a dream, that there was nothing more important to me than making it to the major leagues. And once I made it to the major leagues through the hard struggle, through the minor leagues, and my first year in the major leagues, I'm on the Baltimore Orioles, and we win the World Series. And I didn't think there was anything better or greater than winning the World Series. And you know, now I find myself, I'm back in the Orioles organization. I spent 10 years, my first 10 years were with Baltimore. I got traded to the Dodgers. And you know, a little story with that, my name kept coming up in trades when I was in the Orioles organization. And all I could hear about was, you know, John's gonna get traded somewhere. And I'd never been to Los Angeles. And so my prayer was, Lord, I don't care where you send me, just don't send me to LA. And of course, when I got traded to LA. And I said, Lord, you didn't hear me. And I spent 3 years with the Dodgers, and it's probably 3 of the best years of my life, because through a couple of earthquakes, I didn't even realize what happened during the first earthquake. We were still in bed. Jeremy was a baby, he was asleep, my other son was asleep, and all of a sudden the chandelier was going crazy, and my wife and I were sitting in bed, and we lived up the street from Ontario Airport. And I just thought maybe it was a low-flying plane, and you know, the place was just shaking. And we look up, and the chandelier in the bedroom is just going back and forth. We look at each other, and you know, my wife, we'd never been in an earthquake, and we said, well, maybe it's an earthquake. So we picked up the kids, stood under the doorway, kind of shook a little bit. It's like, now what do you do? And it's early in the morning. So, you know, never been in one, we went back to bed. And put the kids back on the floor, and all of a sudden my phone rings, and it's my sister in Cincinnati. And she's all frantic, and she's like, hey, everybody all right? It's like, yeah, how'd you know we were up? She said, well, I just heard on the radio that you all had a big earthquake. And that's when we panicked. So now we jump out of bed, and it's like, now what do you do? And you know, we thought about it, and I didn't know what you do after a big earthquake, so everything stopped shaking, so we went back to bed. So, but you know, after a while, being in LA, I learned how to drive into traffic, learned how to get around with earthquakes, and lo and behold, I wound up in another World Series. And it was a World Series where Kirk Gibson hit the dramatic home run. We wound up beating the Oakland A's. And all in all, having the opportunity to be in 2 World Series was more than a dream come true. As I said, I always had passion for the game, but as I got older in the game, I didn't realize how much time it would take up being a father, being a husband, and a professional baseball player. You all have seen something that I haven't experienced. You know, Jeremy's 22 years old, and I'm guessing, but I know I'm close. With my schedule, I leave in February. I'll be leaving in a couple weeks, and I come home in October. And the only time that I really get to see my children are in the off season. And with Jeremy being in school, the only time I'll probably see him again is October, if it wasn't for this event. I'm away from my children so much. I haven't been home in the summer because of baseball since 1976. I go away every year. And this is my passion, but my family has never, ever asked me to quit. They love what I do, and I'm so thankful that I have a son like Jeremy who wants to follow in my footsteps. You know, I've been out of his life a lot. And as I was just saying a few minutes ago, you all have seen something that I haven't seen. I think I've seen Jeremy play maybe 3 times. I've never seen a Little League game, and I think I saw a couple of high school games. And just being able to stay connected through the internet, I actually felt like I was here this past summer. And that was because of you all. And just seeing the tremendous amount of support and the significance that maybe some of you all don't realize, the significance of the support that you have for not only Jeremy and the old dogs and the coaches and John and Jim, and you all have something special here. And I am really, truly thankful that my son was able to come up and be a part of this. And I know from talking to him over the winter, last year, throughout the season, looking at the pictures on the internet, reading the articles, this had to be the best experience that he has ever had.